Good afternoon, everyone. We are here today to talk about a very special partnership and cross-sector collaboration focused on expanding opportunities for Baltimore's young people. The Baltimore Tracks Summer Internship Program is a pilot that will match high school students interested in technology careers with our local tech industry. Today, this collaboration between the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, which we all know operates YouthWorks, Baltimore Tracks, a coalition of local tech companies committed to equity, Code in Schools, Pass It On, and Baltimore City Schools. This 6-week paid work experience will give students training and support as they get exposure to the skills needed for success in the tech industry. Baltimore is home to a growing tech industry, and partnerships like this one show the power of local government, nonprofit, and the private sector coming together for the benefit of our young people. We have to prepare the young people and everyone who live in Baltimore who are coming up in this city with the skills needed to succeed in this field. We must continue to build on this cross-sector collaboration to create more pathways to career for Baltimore's youth, which will undoubtedly build a more equitable and thriving city. Under my leadership, we will continue to work with our school system and educational partners to bring our business community and students together, especially in our career technology education or CTE schools, where we have to ensure the linkages are there to the businesses and careers that exist and will exist when our young people leave high schools. Not everyone needs to go to college to be successful, nor do they want to. Thursday through Saturday, my office held our very first youth summit to hear from young Baltimoreans directly about what they want, need, and also what they want to see from their local government. First, I want to thank the hundreds of young people who participated in the summit in person and virtually, and the team at the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success for putting them on. It really was the highlight of my week, and I left the conversations with a renewed commitment to ensuring young people have a seat at the table in my administration, but also left that conversation feeling like I had been blessed, knowing that these young people, despite what many say about them, want better for themselves and their community. They know that they play a role in that, and it's up to all of us to treat them with that respect, but also to empower them to become the greatest version of themselves. I heard from the young people that they wanted CTE and career tracks in every school, not just some. Our young people want financial literacy courses. They want to be able to provide better for their families, and they want to be able to see them and their friends thrive in whatever field they choose. What I saw during the Youth Summit was almost the exact opposite of what we see sometimes, especially from the outside world and media around our young people. Our students, our young people in Baltimore are very engaged in what's happening in their city and their communities. They are looking for caring adults to help them become the greatest version of themselves. And they weren't just asking questions about themselves and their situations, but were truly seeking solutions that could impact and create change for an entire generation. A lot of adults, all of us adults, could learn from their selflessness. Again, I say and thank you and look forward to continuing to bring young people and their ideas to the table. Now, let's remember that this partnership is one of many that make up our Summer YouthWorks program. I'm committed to expanding youth opportunity and have made the commitment that every young person who applies for a YouthWorks job gets a placement. I'm excited to work with Director Perkins Cohen and his team as we make that a reality and take that work to the next level. I want to thank all the companies who are participating in this partnership, all the organizations and business across the city who are serving as job sites for our youth in general. This partnership is what makes programs like YouthWorks possible. Before I turn it over to Jason, I'd like for you to hear from two of our incredible students who are taking part in this program. Jody Ari, a rising senior at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, followed by Theodore Bailey, a recent graduate of Emerson Westside High School. Jody?
Good afternoon. My name is Jody Ai. I'm 17 years old and a rising senior at Poly. I would like to first thank the mayor for this press conference to help us make this happen and getting the word out to other teens. And I'm gonna be honest starting off. When I was first introduced to STEM, I wasn't interested. I saw it boring to sit in front of a computer and just type long lines of numbers and letters for hours and hours. But I will admit this, I was wrong, very wrong. My mom was a big part of my STEM journey. She was the one who pushed me to join the robotics team at the Baltimore City Public School I was attending, and also programs like Code with Classy, Girls Who Code, and later on hackathons where I learned how to make apps and games. It was like a whole new world of coding and competition. I later decided I wanted to learn a new coding language. That's when I was introduced to Coding in the School's Prodigy program. Coding is no longer sitting and typing for me. Well, it is, but it's more. It's the feeling of joy when your code works and watching others enjoy using it. Coding has opened my eyes and allowed me to become more aware because code is everywhere. It's millions of lines creating the simplest of things to use, like texting or searching. The experience I've gained from these programs have opened opportunities in the STEM field for me. For the future, I hope to use these skills to help people, whether it be in law or technology, because I hope to be a technology lawyer. The STEM field is full of diverse career choices for anyone. Technology is becoming more and more vital in today's society, especially since COVID. That's why programs like this, like Code in the Schools, Baltimore Tracks, Pass It On YouthWorks, bring students like me and Theodore so many opportunities to grow. With this knowledge, we can change the world, one line of code at a time. I would like to thank the mayor again for this opportunity and making this internship possible.
Jody, before you leave, can you say your name and spell it?
Like my last name?
No, just your whole name. Say your name and spell it.
Jody I.E., Jodiaryee,
And your student at where?
Baltimore Polytechnic Institute.
And you're doing great.
Hello, my name is Theodore Bailey. I'd like to thank Mayor Scott and the other organizations for coming here together today. I'm a recent graduate of Emerson Westside High School and currently a tech intern at Cohen Schools. I'd like to share with you why I think technology is important to me, my future, and well as Baltimore youth. I became interested in technology by taking apart and putting together computers. I also liked art as a technology. It became a fun thing for me to do. So it was a real creative thing as a resource for me. There were not always a lot of opportunities for there to be formal technology programs in Baltimore. Then one of my business partners introduced me to Cohen Schools, and I was able to join their program. Recently, I've been productive with my JavaScript, my CSS, and as well as my HTML skills, and I've been trying to create my own business for myself, as well as my website portfolio. Technology really intrigues me and keeps me focused. There's always something new to learn, and technology is based off of life. Right now, when I'm building websites on my own, I sketch the ideas in my mind, and then put them to paper, and then build them into design, which becomes the rails for others to know. Eventually, I want to start my own website business and help companies and organizations that are trying to promote their services, as well as nonprofit organizations that are trying to promote the youth so they can have more opportunities for technology work skills, to have enough good working jobs, and as well as to invest in yourself for your future and as well as your family. Technology can create a lot of opportunities for people. I'm looking forward to my tech internship this summer, as well as I continue to improve my technology and business skills. As for this experience right now of me speaking today to steps into my next career. I would like to thank Mayor Scott and as well as other organizations for coming here together and creating this internship opportunity for me and for Baltimore youth as well. And I want to thank everyone for here.
Can you say your name and spell it, please?
Theodore, Theodore, Bailey, Bailey.
What school?
Emerson Westside High School.
And could all the other students up here, when you get up, say your name and spell it?
Good afternoon. Again, I'm Jason Perkins Cohen. I'm the Director of the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. It's great to be standing with so many friends and partners behind me and so many friends and partners in front of me. But I want to especially thank Theodore and Jody and congratulate them. What a wonderful and amazing opportunity that you guys have in front of you. And it's really what YouthWorks is all about. You know, the YouthWorks tagline is "Summer jobs launch careers." And whether you guys literally make a career from this particular experience isn't certain or even most important. What it's really about is to make sure that to you and to the 6,200 other young adults who will be in YouthWorks this summer, which is both 20% more than last year and matches the Mayor Scott's commitment to make sure that every young adult who completed their application was offered a job. What matters is that you have the opportunity to earn, learn, and grow. And this opportunity is especially exciting and important because we all know that the tech industry is incredibly important both to our city and to the young people of our city. And I'm especially grateful that they've made equity and inclusion a priority in this endeavor. You and your peers will get exposed to growing companies like the members of Baltimore Tracks and with partners like Pass It On and Code in the Schools. You'll gain skills valued by the local businesses, by the local business communities, and build your network to realize your future dreams. We're proud to partner with the school system and the groups represented here today and look forward to hearing from you, Theodore and Jody, about your future success. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jason, for everything you're doing for YouthWorks this summer, and thank you, Jody and Theo. We're so proud to have amazing young people like you in our programs. At Code in the Schools, we know for a fact that talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. We see that talent every day. Young people like Jody and Theo, or Octavia, who's currently taking college-level Python through our Prodigy program. She's in 6th grade at Waverly Elementary School, middle, by the way. For every Jody, Theo, and Octavia, there are hundreds more youth in Baltimore City schools, in our programs, at Pass It On, who are just like them, with so much talent, just waiting for that opportunity. The Baltimore Tracks internship pilot is a great start, and we're so thrilled by this group of tech companies and the thought that they've put into the projects that the young people are going to be working on this summer. So thank you to Baltimore Tracks, the team at Baltimore City Schools, Jason and Moed, and to you, Mayor Scott, but most importantly, to our young people. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to serve you, because it's your genius and your talent that will benefit all of us in the long run. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mayor Scott and your staff, press, our esteemed tech, thank you, thank you, sir. Business, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Individuals from the business community. I am Professor Willie Sanders. I'm the executive director and founder of Pass It On. We're a Baltimore-based nonprofit organization who seeks to close the technology skills gap for youth and adults from disadvantaged backgrounds. As a veteran technologist myself and an academic, I know firsthand the disparities that there are in the tech world. Women and people of color are grossly underrepresented in that space. I spend a lot of my time championing and trying to shine a light on these disparities. And a lot of times, though, those conversations, they fall on deaf ears. But I am so proud to be in a city and to be surrounded by individuals who actually see that this is a real issue. And they're willing to not just talk about making a change, but they're willing to step up and in a real tangible way, step in to fill the gap, to provide the youth of Baltimore City with the opportunities that they need to gain the exposure, because that's a big part of it. A big part of getting entry into this field, even before we get to the point of breaking into the technology field, is just being exposed in general. YouthWorks is doing a great job of providing that opportunity, but this takes it to the next level. And I'm so happy that Pass It On and Code in the Schools get a chance to play a role in that as nonprofits, business, and government come together to collaborate. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kumasi Vines, and I am Director of Career Readiness in the Office of College and Career Readiness at Baltimore City Public Schools. Recently, we released our strategic plan, A New Pathway Forward, where it shows our vision of creating opportunities for our students in career readiness to help propel them for in-demand, high-wage, high-skilled jobs post-graduation high school. Whether they choose to go to a 2 or 4-year college or directly into the work, we want to make sure that our students are prepared for the future to take care of themselves and to be productive members of Baltimore City society. In that report, we highlighted the extreme importance of work-based learning opportunities, so internships, apprenticeships, carrying adults from careers coming in and connecting and engaging with our students. This collaboration with Baltimore Tracks and the Mayor's Office of Employment Development is a prime example of the type of relationships that we want with the community as a whole, specifically with the business community, to help provide these meaningful opportunities for the students of Baltimore City. They're invaluable, and we look forward to creating more opportunities with our partners in the community to bring better and more opportunities for our students in Baltimore City Public Schools. And I'd like to thank Mayor Scott, of course, for his support and efforts to help things like this be possible. Professor Willie Sanders from Pass It On, Gretchen LeGrand from Cohen in Schools, Michael Castanola from Smart Logic, all the companies that represent Baltimore Tracks, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, of course, my colleague, Mr. Albert Phillips, who is a work-based learning specialist in our office, and most importantly, our teachers and our students in Baltimore City Public Schools. I'm standing here super impressed by the 2 students that spoke before me, and I'm hoping that one day I can work either for or with them as they head towards their bright futures. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Castanola. I'm the Chief of Staff for Baltimore-based tech company Smart Logic and a steering committee member for Baltimore Tracks, a coalition of Baltimore area private sector tech companies working to make Baltimore a hub for diverse tech talent. Thank you to Mayor Scott for bringing us together with a vision for partnership and service of Baltimore City youth. Together, we are strengthening the pipeline for city school students to access technology jobs. Early access and on-the-job training is critically important to secure a long-term technology career, a career that pays well and will have jobs of the future. The Baltimore Track Summer Internship would not be possible without the incredible collaboration from city schools, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, Code in the Schools, and Pass It On, both of whom are providing technical training and wraparound services to the youth, and of course, all of the companies in the Baltimore Tracks Coalition that have created compelling summer projects and are hosting interns this summer. The tech industry in Baltimore is aware that it is largely homogenous, white and male. We also know that it is largely the result of systemic and structural racism that impedes access to these jobs for people of color. We are often blind to our own biases and participation in the systems further preventing progress. However, the Baltimore Tracks Coalition is actively working to become more diverse, equitable, and inclusive. This summer internship is one step we can take to reduce these barriers and support economic opportunity and hands-on experience for Baltimore young people. We hope our participation in this program is a step towards a more equitable future and in support of the Mayor's vision for youth opportunity. Thank you to everyone for their hard work, collaboration, especially the students who stepped up today to speak to you all for making this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this great partnership. I want to thank Jody and Theodore for being a beaming example of what truly represents the young people of Baltimore. And Brother Kamasi, as much as I love you, for sure you'll be working for them, as will I, in the future. And with that, we'll take it. Questions, everyone.
Mayor Scott, I know targeting city youth listed as one of your top priorities when becoming mayor. Do you feel you're hitting your mark on that?
Alexa, I'm going to ask you, what target them in what way?
Or engaging with city youth, helping city youth, one of your top priorities?
Yeah, I think you heard from us today that we have a 20% increase in Youth Works jobs. Every young person that applied for one is getting one. That's something that we haven't accomplished in some time. We know that we have a lot of work to do. We've been able to open 2 rec centers in Baltimore, getting Baltimore back to having 51 rec centers when we had only 40 a few years ago. That's progress, and we still have a lot more work to do to build on the work that, like we did here, to build on what we heard from the young people directly on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but also to help young people who are engaged, like the hundreds of them who walked in the streets of West Baltimore on Saturday against violence, to make sure that their voices are also being heard. We have been consistently talking and being with our youth, but we have so much more to do, and I'm never going to be satisfied until they're satisfied.
And specifically, as we enter the summer months, are you concerned about those youth who are falling through the cracks?
Well, I think that everyone should be concerned about that, especially with what they've been through, with the young people have been through over the last year and a half, right? We have to make sure we're going to be out there pounding the pavement to make sure that young people are re-engaged with school in the fall, make sure that they know about the summer camp opportunities that we have this summer, opening back up our summer camps. We're going to be opening the pools this weekend, making sure that we're intensely not letting young people fall by the wayside. That's not just going to be the school system or Rec and Parks on its own. Every single agency is going to be involved in that this year to make sure, especially as we go through the summer and lead back into school restarting in the fall, that we re-engage young people and their families. Thank you.
You answered a lot of my questions, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to see if I could talk to the gentleman you was
Absolutely.
adjusting his jacket. Yes, sir.
How you doing?
How you doing? The question I have for you is, when you see on TV, on the news, where you made reference to it, of the flight on Mars or the drone taking off, but when they go to the wide shot of the control room, you see no diversity there. How, and I'm going to run back to my camera because it's Mike's fault that I have to walk all the way down here, okay? All right? I'm going to throw him out there, yeah. So I'm going to run and you look that way, okay?
Okay.
But my question to you is with what the mayor's doing, and I know his mission with youth and the rec centers, because it's tremendous, at least to me. When you see that, what is your answer? Does it make you upset? Does it make you say you got a 6-year-old kid that's doing this. What is your mission to change that?
All right. Do you want me to chicken? Okay. All right. So, yes, absolutely. It upsets me because before I got into academia, I'm an 18-year veteran of the information technology field. I've been the one black person in the room of 30 or 40 other technicians before operating. I used to work for Pearson Global, one of maybe 3 people on their global IT team stateside. So I know what that feels like. But I also know that there's talent out there. One of the reasons I started Pass It On in the first place was after I got into the tech field and started to meet the 1 and 2 other, people of color who were also in the tech field like me. We all had similar stories. We all had similar struggles, similar barriers we had to overcome. I'm a professor now, but I was a college dropout. I attended Towson University. I dropped out of school because I felt like the instructors were teaching over my head because they were addressing students who had taken these types of classes in high school before. Yet, in my high school, I grew up in PG County, in my high school, we didn't have that. We didn't even have typing classes. So I'm here at this level trying to absorb this knowledge. I have a dream. I knew from the time I was 14, I wanted to work in computers. I set up my mom's computer when we finally got our first computer in the house. So this was a passion of mine since I was a kid. I just had nobody to help direct that passion, nobody to help guide me, show me the way. And I think that's all we need to be able to provide to these kids, provide them with that exposure. Exposure counts a lot more than people give it credit for. Thinking about your virtuoso. So I have a music background too. So there's something called a prodigy. A prodigy is somebody who just naturally knows how to do something. But then we had a virtuoso. The virtuoso is a student. They watch, they see, they study, and they're able to pick up these skill sets because they're around them all the time. That's why we see kids who are very instrumental. Maybe they can play the piano at like 6, 7-year-olds. But then when you look at their parents are probably piano players. So just being in that environment helped them absorb, because that's the way children work. We want to create that same type of environment for the tech industry. We want our kids in Baltimore City to be around, be in the environment. Because just being in the environment is going to be able to inspire them to be on that Mars landing team, to design the drones and rovers that land on Mars or go to populate or whatever they're trying to do next. So that's what we're trying to create here. And I think Code of the Schools is doing an awesome job at it. And pass it on, we right there with you.
So what these guys have started, is it making a difference?
Oh, definitely making a difference. Because he had, sorry. I like that Mayor Scott is using this position the way that a position should be used, right? You have the weight of the city government. You have the pull to be able to galvanize all of this, right? And you're using it for good. So definitely, I definitely appreciate what you're doing, and I look forward to being a partner in it. Thank you.
Ma'am?
Mayor Scott, I know that we've seen 30 people die in 30 days in Baltimore, and one of the campaign platforms that you ran on was to get the homicides under 300 in your first year. We're on pace to surpass that this year. What went wrong?
Well, oh goodness. I think that we have to understand that clearly we have folks who are having conflict. It's not one thing that went wrong. I know that folks want to think that people are shooting or killing people. That is one thing. That is gangs and drugs. Well, the folks that think that, they need to wake up out of their dream. We have to, as a city, get a hold of this. And it's not just a Baltimore problem. As you very well know, this is a United States problem where we're seeing gun violence rise in our city. For us here, what we have to do is double down our efforts and do the things that they have been doing and be better. I just wanted to remind everyone that we know that total violent crime in Baltimore is down. We have to continue to target the violent groups, removing people, holding people accountable for shootings and homicides the way that the police department has been doing at a very high clip recently, making sure that when people commit those acts of violence that they're held responsible. But that is a lot greater than just the police department or the city. This is why you guys have heard me consistently talk about needing those other partners to come to the table. Because if the police department are arresting the same person with a gun 2 and 3 times a year, guess what? That means that we need you to be going asking questions of the folks who control parole and probation, the folks that are operating in the court system, the people who are supposed to be monitoring these folks on home monitoring that we find either that are the victims or perpetrators of violence in the city. It's a collective entity, and we're not going to give up. We're going to continue to address that issue each and every day. We're going to continue to make sure that they are changing their deployments, their tactics, and targeting the folks who we know are committing, and we will see the change in Baltimore City. And I will invite everyone to be a part of that change and not just staying at home, being out engaged. Listen, like I said earlier, I was in West Baltimore in a neighborhood extremely hit by violence over the last few years with children and a group of men. If adults came out the same way that those children do, our city would be a different place.
In January, you ran, just a quick follow-up, in January during the campaign as well, you said that it was up to the mayor. The mayor was the one who was responsible. It fell on the mayor to make these decisions and work with that. Has your opinion changed on that role at all now that you're in the position of mayor?
My position has not changed, and let me de-simplify something that you guys are trying to simplify for you. The mayor's position is to make sure that the mayor is instructing the mayor's agencies, the police department, the other city agencies on how to deal with violent crime in the city. But as you very well know, violent crime in Baltimore, public safety agencies in Baltimore are not all run by the mayor. When you're talking about parole and probation, when you're talking about state police, when you're talking about MTA police, when you're talking about central booking, you're talking about agencies that are outside of the purview of the mayor. This is why it's so critical that we're now going to be able to, after our meeting with the governor, to restart the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council so that we are closing all those gaps that have existed and miscommunication that have existed for multiple years are not happening. That's how you end up with so many people who are on parole and probation as the victim of homicide in the city. That's how you end up with people consistently being arrested for guns over and over again. It's a broken system, and we have to stop trying to simplify and thinking that this is a one-person thing. It's my job to get my agencies in check, and we're going to make sure that we continue to do that each and every day, but it has to be about the greater structure of how we're dealing with it as well. Thank you.